Football in Britain has been given exclusive access to a COVID ward where patients and exhausted frontline staff have told us about their frustration over people continuing not to take this virus seriously.
Well, Jonathan Swain joins us from Whiston Hospital in Merseyside. Jonathan, this must have been an eye-opener and, in some cases, very difficult.
Morning, Susanna. Morning, Piers. It's my first time deep into a COVID ward like this. And yes, the patients have COVID behind these doors on the ventilators, receiving oxygen. But that means that COVID is all in the air, the atmosphere here. So that's why the PPE is so essential. And things have improved hugely in the last year or so. PPE is now first class. So are the procedures as well. But COVID is not going away. They have twice as many patients here in these wards now than they did during the first wave. It is the drugs administration time here this morning, so things are calm in these wards, but they've had to redesign the hospitals in the last year because they now have 7 COVID wards here. Just before Christmas, they had just 3 COVID wards. So you can see that there is still a spike, a rise in cases here, and all the patients behind here are on oxygen around the corner. Some are even a more severe case, and they're battling every day to save people's lives. But as we saw yesterday, they're not always successful.
Behind these doors is a glimpse into a world where you wouldn't want to be.
It was the worst thing that I've ever had in my life. Worst thing. And God help anybody who thinks it's not out there, because it is.
There are 2 patients still here of the 11 patients that I was looking after on Friday. The other 9 won't be going home. The other 9 have either died or are dying.
Michelle Hughes is just 37. She works looking after children and caught COVID last month.
It's just terrifying. You just can't breathe. I was shocked to get it, so severe.
Because all the patients have it, coronavirus contaminates the air. Procedures and PPE are now first class, and they have to be.
We've just been fitted for this morning. You have to make sure that this is on incredibly tight. It has to be a complete and utter seal around here because COVID is everywhere inside that ward.
Every day staff have to do this and be in it for up to 12 hours. They're angered by those who deny the virus even exists.
I really, really don't like those kind of comments. We are living it, we're breathing it, we're working in it day in, day out.
At just over the age of 50, Alex Can is normally on a motorway delivering food in his lorry. He never thought he'd suffer with COVID.
I'm a big, strong fellow, and it's nearly killed me.
Dr. Paul Stockton is known as Captain COVID amongst staff. He's just finished a run of working non-stop for 27 days. While he was briefing me outside the ward, he was interrupted.
Sorry, I've got to go. OK, see you in a minute. OK, thanks.
He's overseeing the care of many patients, but those with severe COVID have no guarantees.
Paul, give us a sense of what's happened this morning. I know it's been a tough day.
So it's been a tough morning. One of our patients has died this morning. It's a tragedy. Every death is a tragedy. There's been far too many deaths in the last few weeks. There have been some days 2, 3, 4 patients died in a single day.
Here she goes.
I've survived. I don't know how, but I have. And I'm very grateful for you.
Well, we are joined now by Dr. Paul Stockton, who you saw there in Jonathan's report. Good morning to you. They call you Captain COVID. It's an honour and a privilege for us to talk to you, frankly. I cannot imagine what it is like for you and your staff going through this experience. You described the fact that you had 11 patients at one point, 2 had recovered, and the other 9, you said, were never going to go home. I mean, the loss on that scale must be so hard to take as medics who are trying to save lives.
Absolutely, Susanna, it's a tragedy. Every single death is a tragedy. We see the figures on the national press, but every single one of those deaths is an individual tragedy where a patient's died and they have relatives that are left without a loved one. What makes it worse, they can't even see their loved one until they get to the end of their life.
And Dr. Stockton, we saw some younger people there. This is not just an old people virus, disease, crisis, is it? There are lots of younger people dying and suffering from it.
Absolutely. I think in the first wave, there were much more older people than the second wave. The first wave we thought was an enormous challenge, but the first wave, we only had 130 patients on this site in the first wave. We approached 300 patients last weekend before last, and the patients are younger. The patients were previously fitter. Several patients within those 9 patients that I mentioned in my video were younger than me. I'm 52. We've had patients who've died in their 30s, 40s, 50s. It affects everyone. It isn't just.
And what is your message? What is your message to people who just still refuse to take this virus seriously enough?
It's crazy. It's crazy. This is why I agreed to do this. That people need to see what's actually happening. The virus is there. We're fighting a war. It's crazy for those people that feel that there isn't a problem. We need to follow the rules all the time.
And Dr. Stockton, just sorry, before we let you go, what would you say to people about the vaccination? I mean, as medics on the ward, you must be investing a lot of faith in that programme.
So the vaccination is a real... I think it gives us hope. I've had my vaccine. I don't know any of my colleagues that haven't had the vaccine. It's safe. It makes you feel a little bit ill, potentially for a day or two, but it's safe. And it gives us the light at the end of the tunnel that we're all looking for. None of us want to live like this. It's a challenge for everybody in all walks of life, especially for our nursing staff and the doctors who work here. But the vaccine is a real light at the end of the tunnel.
Dr. Stockton, I just want to thank you and your staff from everyone here, and I'm sure everyone watching, for the amazing work that you continue to do. It's been a very long haul, this pandemic, for everyone in the NHS, and it's not getting any easier right now. If anything, it's tougher than it was in the first wave. So thank you for everything that you do. We greatly appreciate it.
Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts.